For the MHS Pawdcast, the Bulldog Report, and the Metuchen High School Media Club, I'm Eddie Kalegi. After 3 long months of waiting, the high school wrestling season in New Jersey is set to begin next week. To discuss, it's great to be joined right now by MHS physics teacher and Metuchen High School wrestling coach, Coach Keagle. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So before we talk about this season, I'd like to hear a little about your background in the sport. So how did you first develop an interest in this love for wrestling that you have now?
I think when I grew up, we played a lot of baseball and soccer, and we were introduced to wrestling in 8th grade middle school. Some friends, they were going out for the team, so we gave it a try. And once I got to the high school, it was a nice camaraderie. There was a lot of passion. There was a lot of leadership on the coaching staff. Drew me to the sport, and really loved wrestling. Fell in love with it in high school. Eventually went on to wrestle in college at the College of New Jersey, and wasn't a star there, wasn't a starter, but I wrestled with a lot of great friends, a lot of great teammates, a lot of All-Americans, and was coached by Dave Eisenhower, who is one of the icons of wrestling in New Jersey, and went back to my hometown in Long Branch and taught and coached for 10 years. We had a lot of success there as a program, and made my way to Middlesex County, and here I am in year 4 for coaching wrestling.
Yeah, so let's talk about that process, because to my understanding, the wrestling program before your arrival here was sort of dwindling, and there were a lot of questions about its future, but now there's no more uncertainty. So talk about the process of becoming the head coach here at Metuchen High School and what you like most about the experience.
Yeah, so I got a year into teaching, and then my second year the position opened up, and it was meant to be, seemed like. And also it was meant to be because there was a nice group of kids who were 8th graders coming in as freshmen who are now our seniors. So my first year coaching was with 6 or 7 of our seniors right now, and they were our freshman class. And 4 years later, here we are with 7 seniors. 6 of them started with us as freshmen, and they've had a lot of success. They're a big part of our turnaround, and a lot of that is attributed to the Recreation Grapplers program that they were involved in when they were in elementary school and in middle school, and having that foundation and that feeder system was really essential to giving those kids an exposure to the sport, and then carrying them over. And the most enjoyable experience I have is just being around the kids every day, coaching, getting that energy, giving it to them, giving them the confidence, giving them the cheerleading, the encouragement, and seeing them grow.
So talking about this season now, of course, like any other sport this year, things are different. So how is your preparation for the season? Of course, you're about a week into practice. What is different this year, and what other changes are there to New Jersey wrestling compared to past years because of the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, so we had about a year-long off season. We were able to meet outdoors during the summer, which we did once a week. And then, we were preparing to start in the winter, and we heard around Thanksgiving that it was going to be postponed and the new schedule would be starting in March. So all fall we were saying, hey, make sure you're doing things on your own, like running and lifting and staying in shape. And then it turned into all winter, hey, make sure you're running and lifting and staying in shape and staying active. And now here we are in March with a 2-week preseason. So some things that are different are we're doing some split practices. We have our beginner guys in the wrestling room, isolated a little bit, doing our beginner level stuff. And we have our experienced group wrestling in the main gym, rolling out some mats and doing their stuff. So we're isolated in 2 different groups, 2 different pods. That's number 1. And number 2 is we're not doing as much changing partners, switching around, so we're trying to isolate and things like that. As far as mask wearing, with most sports, we can take the masks off when we get into physical activity. And when we do our contact phase, we've broken up practice into 2 phases. Non-contact, which is running, stretching, line drills, agilities, and then when we work into our contact phase, then the kids have the option of taking the masks off. So we've done that, and we've tried to stagger, when are we wearing masks, when are we not wearing masks, what kind of pods are we in, breaking up the JV and the varsity guys. And as far as matches are, we're doing homeschool weigh-ins, so it's almost like an honor system, or we're doing a virtual weigh-in where we're not weighing in with the other team in the locker room. And there's no warm-ups before wrestling matches. You kind of show up to the school in your singlet, and then you step on the mat and you kind of start wrestling. So it's a little bit different that way. And we're also going to roll out two mats for the varsity matches, where out of the 14 weight classes, 7 of the matches are wrestled on one mat, 7 of the matches are wrestled on the other, and that's just to limit, that contact. So there's a lot of changes, some things. But wrestling in general, we've always been very hygiene conscientious. So we've always taken care of, making sure we're showering after practice, making sure we're washing our clothes daily. We have skin disinfectant wipes. Those have always been in practice. So a lot of the practices that we take are continuing. They're just a little bit more highlighted.
Yeah, and definitely with wrestling compared to other sports, it's like the perfect combination almost you'd think about for coronavirus, being indoors and also being very high contact. But obviously with practices and also with the matches themselves, there's a lot of protocols and safety procedures that are taking place. But let's talk about this team this year. You guys had a really strong season last year. It's a little bit of an abbreviated season, pushed back, but you have a lot of returning seniors. What are your expectations for this year, and who are some of the wrestlers that we should really keep an eye on this season?
Yeah, in the last 2 years we had almost 30 dual meet wins, which is amazing. To be close to 25, 30 dual meet wins in the last 2 years, and those wins were hard fought, and we did a lot of preparation to get there. We did a lot of off-season summer tournaments. We did our wrestling camps. We did our training sessions. And the expectations this year is to compete for a division title, as always, and mostly just to see that progression. When you're wrestling and you're getting into that second and third and fourth year of high school wrestling, you should really see yourself come into your own. And this is the first year where we've had 4-year wrestlers. So last year, I didn't have a 4-year wrestler on the roster. This year I have 7 of them, or 6 of them, excuse me. So really, if we want to highlight our seniors, it starts with Jaden Kearns down at 120, and it goes into 145 for Tyler Haynes, both county place winners. 152 Brandon Kick, county place winner. 160 Kobe Williams, who took top 4 in the district. Karim Khan, 160, top 4 in the district. 170 Kobe Williams, top 4 in the district. Dean Serio is in the lineup as a senior this year. He'll be splitting time at 70-82. And those are really our seniors who have been in the program since freshman year or sophomore year, and they've given a lot of time to the sport, and they're going to see a lot of results. And normally in a regular season, I would say those 7 guys, those 7 seniors are looking to be district place winners, top guys in the region, top guys in the county. And I can't forget about Jake Lipinski, who's kind of in that mix right behind Tyler Haynes and a couple underclassmen who are really, really good. And if you look at a guy who's really a program kid, you look at a guy like Jake Lipinski, who's been here for 4 years, he works really, really hard, and he's going to contribute an enormous amount to our team. And just being a part of the system and trusting in the process and coming out year after year and day after day to see the progression, it's really tremendous.
Yeah, and you mentioned all these 4-year wrestlers. So many of these people, too, you're used to hearing as multi-sport athletes here. And I feel like especially this year with all the differences with the season, it's almost beneficial to already have that experience of playing a sport during the pandemic. And you guys certainly have an assortment of wrestlers who have done that. But last thing, I want to highlight one wrestler specifically, and that's Tyler Haynes, who I believe is finalizing a college commitment. So how does that make you feel as a coach, of course, someone who wrestled in college, and you've mentioned all these 4-year wrestlers, that they're not only able to grow here at Metuchen High School, but they're able to ascend and continue in college?
I think it means everything. I think it says a lot about the legacy and the tradition and where the program is going. Where a guy like Tyler Haynes can come into the program as a freshman, do all the right things for 4 years, have a lot of really good results, and enjoy the sport that much, be that passionate about it, feel that prepared and confident where you can say, hey, listen, I want to take it to that next level because I think I have the skills and the passion and the and really the destiny to become a better wrestler every day. So Tyler Haynes means a lot to us, and he's someone we'll talk about a lot in the future once he graduates. And we're going to talk about, hey, listen, people who come into our program, they go on to the next level. They go on to the next level because they're being taught a philosophy in terms of technique, in terms of work ethic, in terms of how to go about day-to-day life and how to go about a practice with a strong work ethic, with integrity. And when you go into a college wrestling room, to have that background, to have that backbone, and to be able to say a guy like Tyler Haynes has done that means a lot to us. And it gives our kids who are underclassmen confidence too, because you can prop up a guy like Tyler Haynes and say, listen, this guy's going to the next level, and you guys could do that too.
Yeah, certainly he can serve as a great model for some of the younger wrestlers. Well, you guys kick things off next week. Very exciting. I know you're excited. I know the wrestlers are as well. Coach Keagle, thanks for joining us today, and best of luck this season.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it.
All right, so for the Metuchen High School Media Club, the MHS Pawdcast, and the Bulldog Report, I'm Eddie Kalegi signing off of the first edition of Coach's Corner. Have a great rest of your night.